It's the afternoon of October 11, and it looks like I've got a pretty good idea of what the shape of the rail is going to look like. This happens to be the yard side of the rail that I believe this is going to be close to the shape that I want to install. The white lines represent the closest that I should be getting to this retaining wall. And as we get closer, we can already see that I have rail in place. This is today and yesterday's, short summary of where we are rail-wise. So this rail has been bent and installed, both of them. Now I have both tracks coming down this way. I think John is coming in a few minutes, and I'm believing that we're gonna continue with this rail right here and see how the switch ties together, and he'll tell me what I need to do for the rail right here as well. So if we take a look around the corner, we'll see that everything is in the path that I want it to be, meaning the track is laid out. I created some space bars to give me what we need, and I've actually relocated. If you notice down below, the rail was actually moved a little bit to the left, but I managed to put it back where it needs to be, meaning I wanted the center of the rail to be about 25 inches to the left of this wall that's on the right-hand side, this footing. So I'm gonna flip back around the other way. And when we started yesterday, when we did this bending of this rail down here, these rails, when I bent this one and we bent this one, it turns out that this rail, we couldn't actually make it line up to where the center, this piece of tape that I've had here has been here since pretty much, I don't know, a few months after I poured the concrete. It actually lines up with the beam trolley. So really I wanted the center of the rail to be right beneath the beam trolley so that I could pick it up. Now yesterday I had the opportunity. It turns out that the rails that were underneath here were, I only have two 12-foot pieces, and I needed to use one of them right here. Here's the splice bar here. I needed to put in a 12-foot piece of rail right here, and I only had one. Why? Why is it so important? Because we want to make sure that we don't have any splices between this little piece of metal right here, which is it's a guide, and we're going to have to put a guide here to make sure that the rail cars don't jump the track. As you're switching, it's most likely for a rail car or anything to jump the track, and you put a guide here on the on both outsides to keep that from happening. So anyway, we pulled this, we used the chain hoists to lift the rail cars. That's why they're still in place right now. We lifted the rail cars, slid the 12-inch rails out. I put some 14-foot rails in place. I could have put some 10-footers. I've got 4 10-footers. Could have put 10-footers in there now that I look at this. But anyway, I'm hoping that in the next 2 weeks that these rail cars I can start working on rebuilding them when I finally get a little bit caught up. But it won't be very long that we can excavate this entire area right here. I'll have to move all this track out of the way. Unfortunately, I'll have to take it apart, but that's okay. It's not like it's going to change a whole lot by me taking it apart. We just have to mark what rails are where, and we'll take it all apart. Then we'll excavate. We'll excavate this area right here, put in the rebar, and then put this on top of the rebar grid, and then we'll concrete it all in place, and that will be that. That's it for today.